ESPN 1063.
WUUB Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Everything's bigger in Texas, including the contract extension. Ceedee Lamb just got the bag, and we're rolling on Emotion Monday.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios.
The man your man could smell.
Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking.
But are you a different animal and the same beast?
What does that mean, Kobe Bryant?
Streaming live on YouTube, here's Theo Dorsey.
Good people. It's your boy Theo Dorsey back at it on Emotion Monday and a Duffy's MVP Monday. We got my guy C-Cat on the other side of the glass on the ones and twos. Spinning it right, getting the vibes high on a Monday evening, and boy, is this Emotion Monday if we've never had one before. We got some major news to drop on y'all. We've been trying to keep it in. We've been trying to hold it back now for over a week at this point. And today, nothing will be the same after you hear what we're going to drop on you today here at ESPN West Palm and all across all the places you can find us. Of course, you're streaming us live on YouTube at Theo Speaking, and you can tap in anywhere when you just tell your smart speaker to play ESPN 1063. And that's going to mean something totally different going forward. So make sure you tap in and stay with the show as we roll that thing out. But the big national sports news of the day, it came from the Lone Star State where I come from. Not Houston, though, but Dallas, because Ceedee Lamb, wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys, his career earnings to date, C-Cat, if you want to guess, like take a stab in the dark, Ceedee Lamb, who was a late first rounder for the Cowboys, his career earnings to date.
Bad at this stuff, $16 million.
$14 million through his first 4 years. Not off.
Not off at all.
Not too far off. $14 million. All of that changes today, though, because Ceedee Lamb striked a 4-year deal, $134 million. $38 million as a signing bonus, $38 million today, the most ever for a non-quarterback, or specifically the most ever for a wide receiver, and he's going to be making $34 million per year, second only to Justin Jefferson. He's got the bag.
Hide the money, y'all. There's poor people around. With your broke ass.
And the person he's looking at calling broke is Dak Prescott, because he and Micah Parsons still waiting on that next deal as Jerry Jones sits in the big office, just twiddling his thumbs and parading at least the fact that you got wide receiver one locked up for the near future. And what that tells me about this Dallas Cowboys team in 2024, this is it. This is the last dance with the Cowboys and Dak Prescott right now, because I don't know how going into the future, if you're the Dallas Cowboys, you could say the core of Dak Prescott, Ceedee Lamb, and Micah Parsons locked up some major deals, major extensions, is a team that you can actually consider to win Super Bowls for you. If that's what the goal is for Dallas, what you have to assume Jerry Jones wants at least one more before, Father Time is undefeated. Like, I know Jerry Jones has been kicking and he's still good. He's giving great interviews, but I don't know if he wants to go out right now the way that it's sitting right now for Dallas. I mean, 13 straight playoff appearances without reaching the conference championship game, the longest streak in NFL history. Like, that's what the Cowboys are right now. Jerry Jones ain't riding with that, C-Cat.
That's having a ceiling in. You know what? Ceedee Lamb is not calling Dak broke ass. Dak Prescott had a $55 million cap hit this year.
Yeah.
He's a future broke ass.
Well, really, and honestly, Dak Prescott has more leverage than anybody in the NFL. He's going to play this year out and become an unrestricted free agent. He's impervious to the inevitable franchise tag that hits most quarterbacks before they hit the open market. He's going to be making $60+ million a year. But that's why I think specifically for the Dallas Cowboys, like, as much as we laugh at them as a franchise, and Jerry Jones has built that thing into something where he bought it for like a $1.50, and now they're worth $10 billion if you ask Forbes, like, they haven't contended at a serious level in quite some time. And they have the core right now that feels like they're on the precipice of it. But again, if you have to pay Dak Prescott $60+ million a year because you weren't smart enough to get that deal done sooner, it's going to be ugly. It's going to be ugly in the sense that the expectations are going to remain high for the Cowboys, and they're going to continue to not clear that bar. And when I look at this squad, and we're 10 sleeps away now, 10 days from the NFL season actually kicking off, like real games being played, not the preseason crap that we have to sit through. 10 days, 10 sleeps until my Chiefs play your Ravens.
Ooh, a civil war.
That's going to be amazing. You can't wait. You can't wait to get a revised version and see what Derrick Henry looks like behind that new Ravens line. You can't wait to see what Lamar Jackson looks like in year 2 with Todd Monken. And I just can't wait to get that three-peat. Talking about unprecedented times, this is exciting. This is exciting for me.
Yeah, the anxiety is more for me. Less can't wait because the Chiefs walk into that game with nothing to lose. Yeah. The Ravens have everything to lose in terms of public perception.
If they do lose that game in a embarrassing way, or even if it's a close call, that is just a tough way. It can derail the rest of your season, whereas you saw the Chiefs lost that week 1 to the Lions last year and then just rolled off. A bunch of wide receivers dropping passes. The defense looked shaky at times. Mahomes was throwing interceptions, I think 14 last year. Just rolled into a second straight Super Bowl win. But that's the kind of level that Cowboys offense wants to be on. And they were, again, now that they've locked up Ceedee Lamb now for the foreseeable future, and they're hoping to see if they can bring Dak Prescott back. Mike McCarthy had that offense rolling last year. The Cowboys felt like a squad that could do something, and it was the Packers once again, who it seems like the Cowboys versus the Packers in the playoffs is that's the boogeyman to them. You don't want to see the Packers in the playoffs if you're a Cowboys fan these days, because it feels like you lose in these horrific ways, whether it's last year Jordan Love in his debut season taking you down. You got the Aaron Rodgers to who was the tight end that Aaron Rodgers? Jared Cook before they nailed the game-winning field goal. Then you got the Dez Bryant. The Dez Bryant no catch. Those all happened against Green Bay. That's they haunt them.
Yeah, it's difficult because do you look at last season's playoff result for the Cowboys as a week-to-week league where we just pretty much had a bad week of practice, prepared the wrong way? It's not an indictment of what we've built these last, what it feels like a decade. Is it that, or is it just a bad week of football? And it's hard to not look at the entire organization as, do we got to break things down and rebuild?
And even if they do, guess what? They're not going to be able to break down and rebuild. That Ceedee Lamb contract, which is now locked in stone again, 4 years, $134 million, puts him at second behind Justin Jefferson, above A.J. Brown, above Amon-Ra St. Brown, above both Dolphins receivers. And what this tells me is it is the last dance for the Dallas Cowboys as currently constituted. This is what the Cowboys are going to be this year, and they got to strike right now before the rest of these NFC teams come back. You got to strike right now while the 49ers look like they're in the midst of a hangover. And now you really got John Lynch and the 49ers brass over the coals right now with that Ayuk deal that they're going to do. They're going to low-key have to end up trading Brandon Ayuk. But to you, what does this mean? What does the Dallas Cowboys inking Ceedee Lamb before they get anything done with Dak Prescott or even Micah Parsons mean for the Cowboys in 2024 and going forward? Hit us up on the Baptist Health Hotline, 888-760-3776. 888-760-3776. Dominic in the chat says, Dak, boo. He's booing Dak like the Nose fans were booing Herb Street. How did that pan out for them? Baptist Health Hotline, 888-760-3776. Are you experiencing foot and ankle pain and need to see an expert in the field? Baptist Health Orthopedic Care is a team of foot and ankle orthopedic surgeons and specialists who are regarded as leaders in their specialty. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho to learn more today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care combines its resources of experienced physicians and leading-edge treatments and technology to provide advanced orthopedic, foot and ankle, joint replacement, spine, and sports medicine care. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho for more information today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care has offices conveniently located in Palm Beach County through the Florida Keys. Learn more by visiting baptisthealth.net/ortho. It's the last dance. It's the last boogie down for the Dallas Cowboys with Dak Prescott, Ceedee Lamb, and Micah Parsons, and it'll be a fun one to watch. But damn, I cannot say how shocked I am that, number one, it took so long to ink a guy like Ceedee Lamb, which feels like an obvious thing after the wide receiver one season he had last year. 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons, had a dozen touchdowns last year, 1,700 yards, led the league in receiving yards and in receptions, was the most consistent guy and really the only trustworthy player on the Cowboys offense. Like CCAT, there's nothing else out there for you to throw the ball to or run your offense through if you're Dallas.
No, and we talked about this before the show. It's like Amari Cooper walked quite literally and figuratively for Ceedee Lamb to run because he took the baton with Amari Cooper leaving Dallas for Cleveland, took it with a full sprint, and Ceedee Lamb probably had the better start to a wide receiver career that we've seen in a long time. It's tough to say that when you had Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson also start their seasons off that hot, but it's really ridiculous what he's been able to do from a literal perspective, impacting wins and losses. And listen, got to bring it up. Fantasy football perspective.
Oh, yeah.
He was a league winner last year.
Legitimately was, and this year he's being drafted as such, like a top 2-3 guy in most fantasy football leagues. But beyond that, too, it makes you kind of wonder, it's hard to replace a starting quarterback in this league when you have one in-house, Tua, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert. Even if they haven't proven it to you in like a very deep playoff run since, it's hard to just reset the clock on things with them and not give them the extension. So for the Dallas Cowboys, it seems like they're telling us Ceedee Lamb less replaceable than Dak Prescott. But you just brought up a good point, C-Cap. Like, we've seen receivers dominate early, especially in the past 5 years. The names you brought up, we're looking at Malik Neighbors, who with Daniel Jones, people are still projecting him to be like a top 10 producing receiver this year. Marvin Harrison Jr., he could have the greatest rookie season we've ever seen as the wide receiver 1 for Kyler Murray in Arizona. And then you have guys, like you said, over the past few years. Jalen Waddle broke the rookie record. We saw Puka Nacua, of all people, who was on nobody's radar, a 5th-round pick for the Rams in Sean McVay's offense, pop out like we haven't seen a rookie do since Anquan Bolden. Like, this is an incredible day when it comes to passing game and when it comes to the priority of receivers. But maybe like Ceedee Lamb for $35 million makes me look at guys like Jalen Waddle and the $28 million he got. Like, that's a discount. Makes me look at these rookie receivers like, now I see why they broke a record for how many receivers were drafted in the first round this year. Like, it's easy to get good productive play out of young dudes.
Even in the highly scrutinized market that is the Dallas Cowboys, where the spotlight is on them, it is kind of tantalizing to lock yourself into the safe option, which is signing Dak Prescott to a long-term deal, which might solidify you a playoff berth every single season, which we've done the past decade or so.
You know what's crazy? They might just like be the Dolphins of the NFC. Prolific offense, exciting, a clear ceiling on the team because of the quarterback position, which everybody thinks Dak Prescott is good. Nobody thinks he's like primed to be the best quarterback in the NFC. A guy that would actually, like, if you put him in a game against Mahomes, actually take the throne and beat him. Like, we've seen him in playoff moments slide at the end of games and lose it. Like, I mean, it's a lot of people's fault that happened, but at the end of the day, it was his decision-making. I don't know, like, they feel like the Dolphins of the NFC right now, and the only difference between them and the Dolphins is a guy like Micah Parsons who can say, I am the best player defensively in the league.
And that's door number 1. Lock yourself into Dak and probably put a ceiling on your team's abilities. Door number 2, it's scary. It's the unknown. What is life after Dak Prescott going to look like? You don't know. It could mean a higher ceiling. It could be dropping to the depths of the NFC, and you are fighting for wild card positions that you're not going to get.
And the Cowboys cannot stomach that at all, but I do think they are built for the future. They're built actually to bring a rookie quarterback in there. The way they've invested in the trenches in the draft, the way they have a bunch of draft picks next year, they will be able to trade up for a quarterback. Like, I would be excited to see them reset the clock and then see Dak Prescott go to a team that's ready to contend now in a different aura and space. But that's not even the biggest news that Adam Schefter helped break. That's not even the biggest news that Adam Schefter helped break today. It's coming. It's coming, and I think we can do it right now. Matter of fact, we're running out of time on this side. On the other side, we'll bring in Adam Schefter himself, ESPN NFL insider, the man that breaks all of the biggest news, and we'll make sure that he's able to tell you what they've been telling us. The higher-ups here in the suits have been telling us we have to hold back. So we'll bring in a real newsbreaker to give you guys the news of the day that's going to change everything in the way that you look at ESPN West Palm going forward. And on top of that, we're going to have a couple of special guests to embrace with us as well. My very first event that I went to, C-Cat, when I joined this ESPN West Palm team 4 years ago, and this is going to be a very nostalgic and emotional day as we make these announcements. Very first event I covered was the Boca Raton Bowl out at FAU Stadium. It was BYU, it was UCF, it was Zach Wilson. My first coverage, like a Zach Wilson game of all people. Wow. Shout to Zach Wilson. Well, we have the date for this year's Boca Bowl. It's going to be Wednesday, December 18th. It's going to be at FAU Stadium. We don't know what teams are playing, but we know it will be 2 of the best group of 5 squads that we have in the nation right now, right? Like, it's a huge year for college football. Nothing is going to be the same ever again. One thing that remains the same, a certainty, it's going to be a huge party. The greatest annual outdoor party in Boca Raton, and that is the Boca Bowl. Wednesday, December 18th, prime time, and it's going to be on ESPN You're going to be wanting to lock in on that and get your tickets. BocaBowl.com to lock in on all of the updates with the Boca Bowl. Again, that's BocaBowl.com to make sure you're tapped in and you know exactly what's going on. FAU Stadium, Wednesday, December 18th. Huge announcement. On the other side, we bring in Adam Schefter for his news-breaking voice. That's C-Cat. I'm Theo Dorsey. We're Theoretically Speaking on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747